There is a mixture you can make in 30 seconds from 3 ingredients in your kitchen. It costs less than $2 total. You water your plant with it. And within 24 hours, a plant that looks completely dead, brown, wilted, collapsed, soil cracked, and dried to concrete shows new green. Within 48 hours, new leaf growth begins. Within a week, the plant has fully recovered and is growing faster than it did before it was stressed. The plant you were about to throw in the compost heap is not dead. It is starving. And 3 kitchen ingredients address every element of that starvation simultaneously. $2, 24 hours. And the nursery that was about to sell you a replacement just lost a sale. This is not miracle plant food. It is soil chemistry and plant biology. The reasons most plants die in home environments have been documented by horticulturists, agronomists, and soil scientists for decades. The same research institutions that advise commercial agriculture on crop failure prevention know exactly why your houseplant or garden plant declines after normal home care. The soil becomes too acidic. Beneficial soil microorganisms are depleted. Water tension prevents hydration even when you water. Each of these failures has a documented correction, and the corrections use ingredients that cost cents per application. Then, someone in a corporate boardroom did the math. The global houseplant and garden care product market generates over $100 billion annually. Plant food, soil conditioners, specialty potting mixes, pH adjusters, and plant revival products occupy shelf after shelf at garden centers. A $2 kitchen mixture that corrects soil pH, feeds beneficial microorganisms, and breaks hydrophobic soil tension simultaneously is not a competing product. It is a category destruction event, and what destroys categories does not appear on the plant care label. Welcome to Forbidden Fix. If these stories matter to you, hit subscribe and the bell. This is where we dig up what industries spent decades trying to erase. The 3 ingredients are baking soda, granulated sugar, and a single drop of liquid dish soap, 3 pantry staples. And the reason this mixture revives dying plants is not anecdotal. Each ingredient addresses a specific documented failure mode in declining houseplants and garden plants. To understand why this works, you need to understand the 3 primary reasons that a plant declines to the point of apparent death in a home environment. They are almost never the reasons homeowners assume. The first failure mode is soil acidification. Most houseplants and common garden plants thrive in soil with a pH between 6, 0, and 7. 0, slightly acidic to neutral, but soil pH shifts over time. Tap water in most municipalities contains dissolved minerals and often has a slightly acidic pH from treatment processes. Every watering deposits a small amount of mineral acid residue. Over months of container gardening with the same soil, the cumulative effect is significant acidification. When soil pH drops below 5, critical nutrient uptake is impaired. Plants cannot absorb iron, calcium, magnesium, or phosphorus effectively regardless of how much fertilizer you apply, because the nutrient ions are in chemical forms that plant roots cannot access at low pH. The plant shows signs of nutrient deficiency. Yellowing leaves, stunted growth, wilting despite adequate watering. Many homeowners diagnose this as overwatering, underwatering, or insufficient light. The actual cause is soil pH. Baking soda is sodium bicarbonate with a pH of approximately 8. 3. When added to water in small quantities and applied to soil, it raises the soil pH toward the neutral zone. 1 tablespoon per gallon of water shifts moderately acidic soil pH upward by approximately half to 1 full pH unit, which is the difference between a soil where nutrients are inaccessible and a soil where they become available again. As pH normalizes, nutrient uptake resumes. The plant shows immediate physiological response within 24 hours because the nutrients that were physically present but chemically inaccessible suddenly become available for absorption. The second failure mode is beneficial microbial depletion. Healthy soil is a living system. The root zone of a thriving plant contains billions of beneficial microorganisms per gram of soil. Mycorrhizal fungi extend the effective root surface area by several orders of magnitude. Nitrogen-fixing bacteria convert atmospheric nitrogen into plant-available ammonia. Phosphate, solubilizing bacteria, break down organic and mineral phosphate into forms roots can absorb. These microbial communities are maintained by organic matter and simple carbon food sources. In a potted plant, whose soil has had no organic inputs for months, the microbial community starves and collapses. The plant loses its below-ground symbiotic partners. Nutrient uptake drops dramatically even if the soil chemistry is otherwise adequate. Granulated sugar is a readily available simple carbon, an energy source for soil microorganisms. When diluted in water and applied to depleted soil, it provides an immediate food source for residual beneficial bacteria and fungi. Within 24 to 48 hours of sugar application, microbial populations begin recovering. The recovery of the rhizosphere microbial community leads to a cascade of improvements in nutrient availability, soil structure, and root function. This is not speculation. Agricultural researchers at the University of Western Australia and at Rothamsted Research in the United Kingdom have published data showing that small additions of sucrose to depleted soils improve microbial biomass and plant growth measurably within days. The third failure mode is hydrophobic soil. This is the most immediately damaging and least understood by home gardeners. When potting mix or garden soil dries out completely, the organic matter in the soil undergoes a chemical change. The surface of the organic particles becomes hydrophobic, coated with compounds that repel water. When you water a severely dried out plant, the water beads on the soil surface and runs down the inside of the pot wall without penetrating the dry soil mass. The soil looks watered. The roots remain in dry soil. The plant continues to die of thirst while you think you're watering it adequately. You can confirm this by pressing your finger into the soil immediately after watering. If the surface feels wet, but the soil 3 inches below feels completely dry, you have hydrophobic soil. A single drop of liquid dish soap acts as a surfactant that breaks the water surface tension and the hydrophobic coating on dried organic particles. Surfactants reduce surface tension from approximately 72 millinewtons per meter in plain water to approximately 30 millinewtons per meter in a dilute surfactant solution. The water penetrates the hydrophobic soil mass instead of running around it. Full root zone hydration is achieved, often for the first time in weeks, despite regular watering. The plant receives water to its roots immediately. Before I go further, this video covers the standard plant revival technique. Inside the Forbidden Fix vault, I have compiled complete plant care guides covering soil chemistry correction for every common plant type, mycorrhizal inoculation techniques, root rot treatment protocols, cinnamon antifungal applications, advanced hydroponic nutrient solutions, and the professional propagation techniques that commercial nurseries use to produce healthy specimens at high volume. The link is in the description, but stay right here because the plant care product industry's business model deserves a full examination. The agricultural and horticultural research community has documented the importance of soil pH, microbial communities, and soil hydration for over a century. The Rothamsted Experimental Station in England, established in 1843, is the world's oldest agricultural research institution. It has published continuous data on soil biology and plant nutrition for over 180 years. The U.S. Department of Agriculture Cooperative Extension System publishes freely available guides on soil pH management, microbial soil health, and irrigation management for every plant type and every climate zone in the United States. The University of California Division of Agriculture and Natural Resources has published specific guides on hydrophobic soil management for container plants. This research is publicly available. It is simply not translated into product labels in the garden center. Plant food products generate enormous revenue by selling nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium fertilizer in branded packaging at 100 to 300 times the cost of agricultural bulk equivalents. Specialty plant revival products sell bespoke combinations of the same minerals. None of them address soil pH before fertilizing, which means their nutrients are often going into soil too acidic to allow the plant to absorb them. None of them address hydrophobic soil before watering, which means their nutrient solutions are running past the roots without being absorbed. The product is not wrong. The application sequence is wrong. And the corrected application sequence requires ingredients that cost pennies and cannot be sold at a premium. If you have made it this far, you understand more about soil chemistry, microbial ecology, and plant hydration physics than 99% of gardeners standing in the plant food aisle choosing between 20 different revival products for a problem that 3 kitchen ingredients solve simultaneously. Subscribe and share. 1 share is 1 more plant saved and 1 fewer replacement purchased. Here's exactly how to do it. Step 1. Assess the plant. Scratch the stem near the base with your fingernail. If green tissue is visible beneath the outer layer, the plant is alive and recoverable. If the stem is completely brown throughout and crispy, the above-ground portion may be dead, but the root system may still be viable. Step 2. Check the soil. Water the surface and observe immediately. If water beads and runs to the edges without penetrating, hydrophobic soil is confirmed. Step 3. Mix the revival solution. In 1 liter of room temperature water, add 1 tablespoon of baking soda, 1 tablespoon of granulated sugar, and 1 single drop of liquid dish soap. Stir gently for 30 seconds. Do not shake, or you will create excessive foam. Step 4. Water the plant slowly with this solution. Allow it to penetrate. If the soil is severely hydrophobic, water in multiple small amounts with 30-second intervals between each addition to allow the surfactant to progressively break down the hydrophobic barrier. Step 5. Ensure drainage is adequate. Empty any standing water in the saucer beneath the pot after 30 minutes. Roots sitting in pooled water will rot. Step 6. Move the plant to bright, indirect light. Avoid direct harsh sun for the first 48 hours during recovery, as stressed plants are more susceptible to photo damage. Step 7. Apply the solution once. Do not apply repeatedly. After the initial revival, return to plain water for subsequent waterings. For severely depleted soil, follow up in 7 days with a standard balanced fertilizer application once the plant shows recovery signs. Total cost, less than $2 for full treatment. I need to be honest with you. This mixture addresses the 3 most common causes of plant decline in home environments. It will not revive plants that have suffered root rot from prolonged overwatering. Root rot is caused by fungal infection, specifically Pythium and Phytophthora species, that destroy root tissue. A rotted root system cannot absorb water or nutrients regardless of soil chemistry correction. For root rot recovery, remove the plant from its pot, trim all black and mushy roots with sterile scissors, dust the cut root surfaces with cinnamon powder, which contains trans-cinnamaldehyde, a documented natural antifungal compound, and repot in fresh, dry soil. The plant must then be allowed to establish new roots before normal watering resumes. This process can take 2 to 4 weeks. Do not apply the sugar and baking soda mixture to plants with confirmed root rot, as the sugar feeds the fungal organisms as readily as it feeds beneficial bacteria. And this method works best on plants that have declined from environmental stress, including drought, soil depletion, and pH shift. It is not a treatment for disease, pest infestation, or physical damage. For 5,000 years, farmers and gardeners understood that healthy soil was a living system that needed feeding, balancing, and appropriate water management. They added wood ash to raise pH. They rotted organic matter to feed microorganisms. They understood that cracked dry soil needed different watering technique than moist, loose soil. This knowledge was passed down through practical experience. Then, the industrial garden supply market arrived and replaced a living body of knowledge with a product label. The plant's problem was simplified into a deficiency. The deficiency was addressed with a product. The product was not wrong, but it was incomplete. And the missing pieces, soil pH correction, microbial feeding, and surface tension management, were never mentioned because they could not be packaged and sold separately. There was not a more complete solution. There was just a more profitable, incomplete one. Subscribe and share. Every share preserves what